as the face of the enduring and widely watched The Ed Sullivan Show. Renowned for his exceptional talent in spotting future superstars, Sullivan became a crucial gateway for emerging talents, providing them with a platform for their big breaks. Nevertheless, being a show host, Sullivan, like anyone else, had his preferences and individuals he did not particularly favor, leading to a few notable bans and strained relationships with certain guests. The Ed Sullivan Show. The Ed Sullivan Show, hailed as one of the premier programs in the annals of television history, left an indelible mark on the world of entertainment. A true cultural phenomenon, it served as a launching pad for numerous iconic figures, especially in the realm of music. The show, with its broad audience appeal, became the pivotal platform that propelled many of our greatest singers to stardom, shaping the musical landscape we still appreciate today. The stage of The Ed Sullivan Show witnessed the meteoric rise of legendary singers, whose timeless performances continue to resonate with audiences across generations. From the electrifying beats of rock and roll to the soul-stirring melodies of jazz and the heart-rending tunes of pop, Ed Sullivan's show embraced a diverse array of musical genres, showcasing the breadth and depth of talent in the entertainment world. However, amidst the host's welcoming platform, there were some singers whom Ed Sullivan couldn't stand, and he didn't shy away from making it known. Ed, known for his less-than-easygoing personality, occasionally presented challenges for his guests. Despite these hurdles, the performers who appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show became household names, thanks to the significant exposure provided by the show. Winning over Ed Sullivan was not always an easy task, but those who did achieve a level of recognition that extended far beyond the show's stage. Elvis Presley. The clash between Ed Sullivan and the undisputed king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, on The Ed Sullivan Show is etched into the annals of music history as a pivotal moment that captured the cultural tension of the time. The root of their notorious clash lay in a fundamental clash of cultures and values. Ed Sullivan, the venerable host, embodied conservatism in the entertainment industry. His show aimed to project a wholesome image, catering to a broad family audience that tuned in faithfully each week. In stark contrast, Elvis Presley emerged as a groundbreaking force in the music scene, challenging conventions and pushing boundaries. His provocative dance moves and raw musical style were seen as both rebellious and controversial, particularly within the conservative landscape of the 1950s. Elvis, with his charismatic stage presence and distinctive sound, symbolized a departure from the norms of mainstream entertainment. The clash of these two titans on The Ed Sullivan Show became a cultural touchstone, highlighting the generational gap and the changing dynamics of popular culture. Sullivan, with a reputation for upholding traditional values, was initially hesitant to feature Elvis on his show. Ed Sullivan's initial reluctance stemmed from genuine concerns about the potentially suggestive nature of Elvis's performances and the potential backlash from conservative viewers. The clash of cultural values between the conservative image Sullivan aimed to present on his show, appealing to a broad family audience, and the rebellious, groundbreaking style of Elvis Presley made the decision a challenging one. Recognizing Elvis's immense popularity and the undeniable appeal he had, especially for the youth, Sullivan eventually overcame his reservations and extended an invitation for Elvis to perform on The Ed Sullivan Show. This decision turned out to be a watershed moment not only for Elvis, but also for the history of television and popular music. Once on the show, the interactions between Sullivan and Elvis revealed a palpable strain. Sullivan, known for his reserved demeanor, found it challenging to synchronize with Elvis's more bubbly and energetic personality. The contrast in their styles and approaches created an interesting dynamic, with Sullivan occasionally feeling uncomfortable and put off by the exuberance that Elvis brought to the stage. Elvis, accustomed to a more relaxed and unrestrained atmosphere during his usual performances, may have felt constrained by the show's strict production guidelines and limited movement on stage. The inherent tension in their personal dynamics became evident during these interactions. Despite these differences and the occasional strains behind the scenes, the appearances on The Ed Sullivan Show played a monumental role in propelling Elvis Presley's career to the national stage. The show's massive viewership, combined with the undeniable talent and charisma of Elvis, significantly boosted his popularity. These appearances became a catalyst for Elvis's ascent to legendary status in the world of music, solidifying his place as a cultural icon. In retrospect, while the personal dynamics between Ed Sullivan and Elvis may have been tense, the enduring impact of Elvis's performances on The Ed Sullivan Show remains an essential chapter in the history of popular music. Buddy Holly. Ed Sullivan's relationship with Buddy Holly, the talented and influential rock and roll artist of the late 1950s, was marked by strain and discord. Holly's appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show not only showcased his innovative musical style, but also played a significant role in broadening public awareness of the artist. The discord between Sullivan and Buddy Holly primarily revolved around Sullivan's resistance to having Holly and the Crickets perform their song, "Oh Boy." This disagreement hinted at a clash of artistic visions, with Sullivan's traditional showbiz preferences conflicting with Holly's groundbreaking sound. The reluctance of the group, particularly their lack of enthusiasm for the performance on the show, further fueled tension with Ed Sullivan. Sullivan, known for his strict vision and expectations for performers on his show, found himself at odds with Holly's more revolutionary approach to music. Buddy Holly's musical innovation was characterized by blending rockabilly with country and rhythm and blues, a fresh and revolutionary sound for the time. This distinctive style contributed to his popularity, but it also created a challenge when aligning with Sullivan's more traditional showbiz sensibilities. In addition to the clash over song choices, the strained relationship between Ed Sullivan and Buddy Holly was further exacerbated by Holly's desire for more creative control and artistic freedom. As an emerging artist with a distinctive sound, Holly sought autonomy over his performances, a sentiment that conflicted with Sullivan's penchant for exerting control over every aspect of the shows he curated. Sullivan, a host known for imposing strict rules on artists, often dictated not only the songs to be performed, but also the choreography and attire, reflecting his commitment to maintaining a certain image on his show. This clash of values created a palpable tension between Sullivan's structured approach and Holly's yearning for artistic authenticity. The uncomfortable relationship reached its peak during Holly's appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show, with the behind-the-scenes atmosphere reflecting the discord between the artist and the show's host. The clash of personalities and artistic visions was evident, contributing to an environment that was less than harmonious. However, despite the strained relationship, Buddy Holly's performances on the show held undeniable significance for his career. The exposure provided by The Ed Sullivan Show played a crucial role in introducing Holly's music to a broader audience, ultimately contributing to his lasting legacy in the annals of rock and roll history. In retrospect, these performances on Sullivan's show serve as vital archival records, offering a glimpse into the early career of a rock pioneer. To this day, the recordings of Buddy Holly on The Ed Sullivan Show remain some of the only visual representations we have of the artist, adding historical value to the clash of artistic ideologies that occurred behind the scenes. The tension between Sullivan's structured approach and Holly's quest for authenticity provides a nuanced perspective on the evolving dynamics of the music industry during that era. The Doors. The turbulent relationship between Ed Sullivan and The Doors, fronted by the enigmatic Jim Morrison, stands out as a significant episode in the annals of rock and roll history. This clash of titans encapsulates the profound generation gap and cultural transformations that characterized the tumultuous 1960s. At the forefront of the psychedelic rock movement, The Doors, led by the charismatic and unpredictable Morrison, embodied the rebellious spirit of the era. Their music, marked by its provocative nature, clashed sharply with the conservative values and family-oriented entertainment symbolized by Ed Sullivan. The Doors' scheduled appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1967 became a focal point of this clash. Sullivan, uneasy with the edginess of The Doors' music and Morrison's onstage persona, attempted to bring their performance in line with his vision of socially acceptable entertainment. Specifically, he asked the band to modify the lyrics of their hit song, Light My Fire, to remove any references that could be construed as promoting drug use. During rehearsal, The Doors acquiesced to Sullivan's request. But when the moment arrived for the live performance, Jim Morrison defiantly sang the original, unaltered lyrics. This act of rebellion against Sullivan's directive resulted in The Doors being promptly banned from future appearances on The Ed Sullivan Show. Ed Sullivan's ire at Jim Morrison's rebellion and the ensuing public embarrassment became a defining moment, effectively closing the door on any hopes of a harmonious relationship between The Doors and Sullivan. The clash between The Doors' countercultural stance, epitomized by Morrison's unapologetic defiance, and Sullivan's quest for control and adherence to mainstream norms, highlighted the irreconcilable differences between the two camps. This incident had a lasting impact, contributing significantly to The Doors' image as a countercultural icon. Morrison's bold defiance against Sullivan's attempt at censorship further solidified their status as champions of artistic freedom and symbols of the growing resistance against established norms. The friction between The Doors and Sullivan exemplified the widening chasm between the conservative establishment embodied by Sullivan and the burgeoning, youth-driven counterculture that was gaining momentum in the 1960s. Despite the discord, The Doors' appearance on Sullivan's show holds a significant place in rock history. It serves as a poignant reflection of the shifting dynamics in society and entertainment during a transformative period. The Doors, with their rebellious spirit and refusal to conform, became emblematic of a generation pushing against the boundaries of convention, challenging authority, and paving the way for a new era of cultural expression. Bo Diddley. Ed Sullivan's association with Bo Diddley, a groundbreaking figure in the nascent era of rock and roll, was riddled with tension and disagreement. This discord vividly illustrated the clash between the pursuit of artistic expression and the constraints of traditional expectations, creating a narrative that mirrored the evolving landscape of the music industry. Bo Diddley, renowned for his groundbreaking rhythms and influential guitar prowess, stood out as a boundary-breaking artist. His musical palette encompassed elements of blues, rhythm and blues, and rock, all woven together into a distinctive and electrifying style that defied conventional categorization. As a pioneer of his time, Bo Diddley occupied a pivotal position in a musical movement that sought to challenge and redefine the established norms prevailing in the mid-1950s. On the fateful evening of November 20th, 1955, the legendary Bo Diddley, an African-American rock and roll pioneer, took center stage on The Ed Sullivan Show. Little did anyone anticipate that this performance would not only showcase Diddley's musical prowess, but also ignite a backstage controversy that reverberated through CBS studios. Originally slated to perform Tennessee Ernie Ford's 16 Tons, Bo Diddley had initially acquiesced to the requested song during the dress rehearsal, in line with the show's meticulous planning. However, as the clock ticked toward 8:39 p.m., the atmosphere backstage took an unexpected turn. Diddley, with a sudden change of heart, approached Ray Block, the musical director, and announced his decision to switch to his eponymous single, Bo Diddley. The ensuing chaos unfolded like a backstage drama, with a reporter describing the heated exchanges among key players. Bo Diddley, supported by his agent Tommy Smalls, asserted that the change was prompted by the song's popularity, making it a jukebox favorite across the nation. This impromptu decision, however, led to a clash with Sullivan and Marlo Lewis, the executive producer, who argued that Diddley should have communicated the change before the live broadcast began. The repercussions were swift. In a bid to accommodate the altered program, 2 acts preceding Bo Diddley's performance were cut, intensifying the backstage tension. Tempers flared, and a heated argument between Sullivan and Tommy Smalls ensued. By the time the executive director, John Ray, took the show off the air, verbal attacks echoed through the backstage area, with Diddley, Smalls, Lewis, Block, and band members engaging in a spirited debate over the unexpected programming shift. Bo Diddley's decision, driven by his connection with the audience and a desire to honor fan expectations, inadvertently became a defining moment in the annals of television controversy. In his autobiography, Living Legend, Bo Diddley vividly recounted a tense encounter with Ed Sullivan that unfolded behind the scenes of The Ed Sullivan Show. Diddley reflected on Sullivan's harsh words, recalling, "Ed Sullivan says to me in plain words, 'You are the first black boy,' quote, 'that ever double-crossed me.' I was ready to fight because I was a little young dude off the streets of Chicago, and him calling me black in those days was as bad as saying N-word. My manager says to me, 'That's Mr. Sullivan.' I said, 'I don't give a expletive about Mr. Sullivan. He don't talk to me like that.' And so he told me. He says, 'I'll see that you never work no more in show business. You'll never get another TV show in your life.' This exchange, fraught with racial undertones and the threat of professional repercussions, captured the intensity of the clash between the uncompromising Bo Diddley and the influential host, Ed Sullivan. It became a defining moment, sealing Diddley's decision never to grace The Ed Sullivan Show again. Bob Dylan. Ed Sullivan's intricate relationship with the legendary folk and rock singer-songwriter Bob Dylan was a nuanced dance between contrasting ideologies and a fundamental divergence in artistic expression. Bob Dylan, renowned for his evocative lyrics and intellectually stimulating music, stood as a symbol of the counterculture movement and the emerging wave of folk and rock artists reshaping the musical landscape in the 1960s. As the mid-1960s ushered in the zenith of Dylan's popularity and influence, The Ed Sullivan Show, a powerhouse platform for exposure, extended an invitation to the iconic musician. This marked a significant moment, as Dylan's appearance on the show had the potential to bridge the gap between mainstream audiences and the counterculture movement. However, Sullivan, emblematic of a more traditional and conservative entertainment industry, found himself grappling with the challenge of comprehending and embracing Dylan's unconventional style and the controversial themes woven into his lyrics. The clash between the two highlighted the broader tension between the established norms of the entertainment industry and the avant-garde expressions emerging from artists like Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's reputation as a musical force extended beyond his poignant lyrics and thought-provoking music. He was recognized for using his art to articulate social and political concerns, daring to challenge the status quo and advocate for transformative change. This approach stood in stark contrast to Ed Sullivan's hosting style, which leaned toward acts conforming to a more conventional and mainstream image. As Dylan geared up for his appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show, the rehearsal process became a battleground for artistic expression and mainstream expectations. Opting for his politically charged song, John Birch Paranoid Blues, a satirical take on the political climate of the era, Dylan pushed the boundaries of what was considered acceptable for mainstream television. Interestingly, the song, which took a lighthearted jab at those fearful of communism, didn't elicit the anticipated disapproval from Ed Sullivan himself. However, the clash occurred when the show's producer insisted on a different song for Dylan's performance. Unwilling to compromise his artistic vision, Dylan took a stand, refusing to acquiesce to the producer's demands. This principled stance led to the cancellation of his performance, forever severing the relationship between Bob Dylan and Ed Sullivan, Sam Cooke. Ed Sullivan's encounter with Sam Cooke, a prominent soul and R&B maestro, embarked on a promising note, but eventually navigated towards a less favorable trajectory. Sam Cooke, recognized for his soulful renditions and songwriting prowess, took the stage on The Ed Sullivan Show with high expectations. Having invested considerable time in rehearsal and meticulous preparation, Cooke anticipated a stellar performance. However, unforeseen circumstances arose as filming for the show extended beyond its allotted time, abruptly curtailing Cooke's performance. The untimely conclusion understandably left him greatly disheartened. Regrettably, this incident cast a shadow over their budding association, leading to Sam Cooke's decision never to grace The Ed Sullivan Show again. The fallout was marked by a significant silence between the two men, with no subsequent communication. Ed Sullivan, perhaps attributing the incident to production constraints, held the view that Cooke's disappointment was unwarranted. Despite Sullivan's perspective, acknowledging the impact on Sam Cooke and the significance of the incident, Ed Sullivan took a step towards reconciliation by publicly expressing an apology. This public apology served as a testament to Sullivan's recognition of the unfortunate outcome and its effect on Sam Cooke's experience on the show. It's worth noting that the recording of Sam Cooke's performance on The Ed Sullivan Show remains a rare and valuable video documentation of the acclaimed singer. This serves as a lasting artifact in the annals of musical history, capturing a moment that, despite its challenges, contributes to the rich tapestry of Sam Cooke's legacy and his interactions with the influential Ed Sullivan Show. The genesis of The Ed Sullivan Show. In the annals of entertainment history, the year 1948 marked a significant turning point, thanks to the visionary efforts of legendary producer Marlo Lewis. Fueled by an unwavering dedication and a keen eye for incredible talent, Lewis embarked on a quest to bring a rising star into the limelight. That star was Ed Sullivan, a name destined to become synonymous with entertainment greatness. With charisma and an unyielding belief in Sullivan's potential, Lewis successfully persuaded CBS, a formidable network, to take a risk on this budding icon. As a result of Lewis's persistent efforts, a television phenomenon was born, a show that would captivate audiences and shape the very essence of American entertainment. In June of 1948, the world witnessed the global premiere of Toast of the Town, a show that would soon become a household name. Ed Sullivan made his inaugural television appearance at the esteemed Maxine Elliott's Theater in the heart of New York. Welcoming viewers into his world, Sullivan set the stage for an extraordinary adventure, brimming with hopes and dreams. However, this was just the beginning of an incredible ascent. The show's popularity soared, and its irresistible allure transcended the confines of its initial location. In January 1953, Toast of the Town took a triumphant leap, marking a pivotal moment in its evolution. The Ed Sullivan Show, now imbued with the essence of a man who had transcended the bounds of entertainment, became a sacred space for artists and performers. It witnessed the beauty of Elvis Presley's swinging hips, the Beatles' earth-shattering debut, and the sheer brilliance of numerous superstars who graced its stage. Each song, step, and smile resonated with the spirit of Ed Sullivan and the dreamer who propelled him to fame. The theater became more than just a change in location. It stood as a monument to the enormous success of Toast of the Town and its host's tenacious spirit. This move represented a turning point, a time when a former radio playhouse was revived as the epicenter of American entertainment. The Ed Sullivan Show, which graced the airwaves from 1948 to 1971, left an indelible mark on American television, transforming the landscape and becoming a stage for groundbreaking performances spanning rock and roll, comedy, novelty, pop music, politics, sports, opera, and beyond. From the historic rock and roll moments featuring the Beatles, Elvis Presley, Rolling Stones, and the Doors, to the sensational Motown acts by the Jackson 5, Supremes, and Temptations, the show hosted an array of iconic performances. Hilarious stand-up comedy became a staple with Richard Pryor, Rodney Dangerfield, George Carlin, and Carol Burnett, while Broadway stars of musicals like My Fair Lady and West Side Story graced the stage. The list of luminaries who stepped onto the Ed Sullivan Show goes on and on. But how did this show become the epicenter of top talent and historical performances? In an ironic twist, Ed Sullivan, the host, defied the conventional charm associated with talk show hosts. Pasty in the bright lights, shifty in his stance, and known for fumbling introductions and monologues, Sullivan's discomfort became a defining feature that contributed to the cult of Ed. Much like a fender bender on the side of the highway, people couldn't help but be captivated by the awkwardness. Behind the scenes, however, Sullivan was a masterful tracker and arranger of talent. While a variety show inherently offers diversity, Sullivan's curation went above and beyond, presenting a mishmash of acts ranging from puppet shows to opera. The show truly had it all, showcasing Sullivan's brilliance in assembling an eclectic array of talent. Numerous acts and performers had their debuts or achieved their most famous TV moments on his show. Ed Sullivan had an uncanny knack for identifying what was hot and intriguing in the realm of talent, even if his own onstage presence lacked a discernible pulse. When it came to booking acts, Ed knew how to do it better than anyone else. In 1968, the theater in which the Ed Sullivan Show took place was named for Sullivan. The Ed Sullivan Theater remained a creative hotspot, attracting renowned talk show hosts like David Letterman and Stephen Colbert, who followed in the footsteps of the man whose name adorned the marquee. Ed Sullivan's discerning taste and occasional clashes with singers undeniably left an indelible mark on the landscape of musical history. The Ed Sullivan Show, despite its challenges and disputes, has become an invaluable repository of our musical heritage. For aficionados of great music, a nostalgic journey through reruns of The Ed Sullivan Show promises an evening filled with iconic performances and timeless melodies. Reflecting on Ed Sullivan's interactions with various singers begs the question, were you a fan of any of these artists who found themselves banned or viewed with suspicion by Sullivan? Can you recall the anticipation and excitement of witnessing their performances on The Ed Sullivan Show during its original broadcasts? Moreover, in today's dynamic entertainment landscape, the role of late-night shows in launching the careers of singers and performers remains a topic of discussion. Do you believe that contemporary late-night shows possess the same influential power in catapulting artists to stardom? Or has the paradigm shifted, with the best talents finding